Fun is what we're all about. Straight No Chaser Talk Radio.
What fun at a party!
This is Straight No Chaser Talk Radio. We're just getting started. Straight No Chaser Talk Radio.
He's drinking that with no chaser.
This is Straight No Chaser Talk Radio. We're just getting started. Straight No Chaser Talk Radio.
He's drinking that with no chaser.
This is Straight No Chaser Talk Radio. We're just getting started. Straight No Chaser Talk Radio.
He's drinking that with no chaser.
Good evening, everyone. It's your boy B, and we're back for another week of Straight No Chaser Talk Radio, where we never dilute the issues, we only serve the hard stuff. Well, of course, we can't go any further until we introduce the man, the myth, the legend. Ladies and gentlemen, you know we love you. We're trying to be just like Dr. T.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. How you doing, Brother B?
Thanks, Dr. T. Well, it's good to see you as always. And of course, we're going to talk about something that has raised its ugly head. And as you know, everybody was kind of shocked when we were reading the headlines the other day of an incident that happened down at Southern University. And right now the details are still coming in on it, but it certainly was very concerning, and it was an issue involving hazing.
Yep.
And, apparently a young man, Mr. Caleb Wilson, hopefully I have his name right, was attempting to become a member of a fraternity, attempting to become a member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity down in Southern University. And according to the reporting now, it appears that he was apparently involved in some type of unauthorized, gathering or ritual, or whatever you want to call it. But the reporting has it so far that during this gathering, he was punched in the chest, and subsequently collapsed, and later on died of his injuries. And of course, that's just sent a lot of shockwaves throughout the community. I've been seeing things on social media, people that are in fraternities and other organizations, and people who are not, who are just totally disgusted with it.
Yeah.
The circumstances. And so tonight we'll just kind of talk a little bit about hazing and the like. And I know we're both members of fraternities and so forth, and we know a lot of people that are in various organizations. They're in military organizations and Masonic organizations and the like. And when this subject comes up, no matter what organization you're in, but at the end of the day, I think the general consensus is no one should end up dead because they are trying to enter an organization, particularly an organization that is grounded in community service and scholarship.
Yep.
So, what were your thoughts on that, Doc?
Well, I mean, it's a part of. Seems like all the fraternities and sororities in our country. It's a part of the time we meet with prospective people that want to be involved with our organizations. And it seems like that's the first thing we talk about, that, our fraternity sorority does not haze. And if you haze, if you receive hazing, see hazing, report it. I'm glad that you brought up the band side because, I'm familiar with that culture and the military culture. I remember when I got promoted out of AIT. I got my new stripes, and what they usually do is punch your arm with the stripes for enlisted. And I've heard this with officers. They pin your new officer rank without the stubs on the back, and they kind of press hard on it. But I was enlisted, and the drill sergeant, I specifically said, "Do not punch me, drill sergeant." And he hit me hard in the arm, and I almost started to cry because I was like, man, he hit the right spot.
Mhm.
And reflecting on that, I could have reported him because that was assault.
Mhm.
But I just let it go. And it's a part of the culture at the time in the United States Army. And sometimes we have to understand and grow that that's not the culture anymore in our organizations,
Mhm.
and move forward, because obviously it's going overboard and people are dying.
Yeah, and it's. I'm glad we kind of started, with that side of the discussion.
Yeah.
I remember the movie Navy SEALs, and when those guys got over, they put their Navy SEAL insignia on their chest with the
Yep.
pins, and then punched it in the chest, draw a little blood, and I think it's ironic that things have sort of gotten to the point where a lot of the organizations, whether regardless of the race of the fraternity, predominant race,
Mhm.
everyone is in a mode of trying to cut down on hazing and related incidences, and mainly because well, number one, it's illegal, and
Yes.
hazing is a crime in
Mhm.
just about all 50 states. Maybe one or two of them out there, but I'm not aware of them. But I do know in most states it's a crime. But the second thing is that the civil liability that's attached.
Right.
Many organizations are facing huge civil penalties,
Yep.
potentially as a result of people bringing lawsuits and seeking relief in the courts because of the way they were treated to get into various programs or fraternities or whatever.
Right.
That's something else that's very prevalent.
Well, one of the things that, like you said, it's against the law now. We're taking it very serious. We don't want our folks to be involved in something that they can die. So, I was a president at one time of my organization, and just having conversations with brothers and people outside of the fraternity that I belong to. Like, as an adult, I don't want to lose my house. I don't want to go to jail. That's not a good thing. And I know a little bit what happened with that student at Southern. I mean, I'm gonna pay close attention to it because he was a member of the band. But if adults that are not involved within the collegiate realm and not enrolled in an undergrad program, I mean, I don't understand that, because I remember the drum major at Florida A&M died a while back, and some kids went to jail, and other kids had plea bargains. They had plea deals, and band director lost their job, and that's one of the bands that I like to listen to online, and that entire band was grounded for a year. I mean, you go to a football game, and that's part of the excitement, especially with the HBCU band or football experience. That band did not play for the entire year, so I was like, wow, But yeah, one of the things that I say to people, I'm allergic to jails and prisons. I don't want to go there even to visit,
Yeah.
So and I stated this, the culture You
Sure.
know, we have to change our culture as how we look. And, people will say that, hey, I don't want certain people. How do we block, if you will, in our organizations? I believe there's a better way, but, that's sad that student is not coming home to their parents. And, some people are going to go to prison for this, unfortunately.
Yeah. If the reporting is accurate, there are definitely going to be some folks held accountable.
Yep.
As it should be.
Yep.
And and I guess the tragedy in all this is all the people that are going to be ruined now as a result of this.
Yep.
Obviously, Caleb is dead, and he, from everything I read, he was a very promising young man. Was a mechanical engineer. Plus he was a musician, and just you look at that light that's been snuffed out. And then, of course, the individuals who were involved in this, their lives and their families are going to be turned upside down because if these allegations are true, obviously there's going to be some criminality involved, and they'll have to face those consequences. And then for the school, certainly there is the potential of civil litigation against the school, the fraternity, everyone involved. You know what I mean? So it's just a lose all the way around.
Yes.
For something like that to happen, and then it's very unfortunate that there were not more mature heads in the room. And the other thing that I've been hearing also is that these issues are also of grave concern to the college administrators across the country. Because, when they look at those items where they have to see if there are potential weaknesses in terms of civil liability, that keeps coming up as like number 1 and number 2 on the list.
Yeah.
So, if these things continue to happen, depending on the outcomes of this, you may have some college presidents say, that's a liability we really don't need. We have enough to worry about.
Right.
But certainly this is something we can manage. We just say enough.
Right.
And then they can do that stuff somewhere else.
Absolutely. We're getting into the stage of, I would love to be a leader, but, people that I work with, they're not adhering to the rules and regulations of the organization. I mean, this is anywhere. And you're responsible. Again, I like my home.
Right.
I worked hard for it.
That's right.
And I still have children that are going to college and high school, me being stupid or doing something stupid, and that affects them as well.
Yeah.
So, it's crazy. I just don't, some of the things I don't understand, and having frank conversations with my fraternity brothers, and they weren't being rude. They're like, well, you didn't go through that side of the process, so you might not understand. But as I told them, I understand jail and prison, and I don't want to go. So.
Absolutely. And they are putting people in jail. No doubt. And when you look back at the Florida A&M incident with the band, that was a ritual they called their crossing bus C.
Right.
And now whatever that involved, but obviously it got out of hand.
Yep.
And once again, you have a student who went there to play music.
Yep.
Is now dead. I mean, come on, man. I mean, it just, the two just don't add up. You send your child, or you go to schools and whatever to get the education and the camaraderie and all those things. No one should end up dead trying to join an organization that is about scholarship and community service. That the two don't even go together. Death, trying to get in, but yet we are promoting scholarships and community service. And I'm not just talking about the Omegas. There was an incident with a group at University of Mississippi. Was it Phi Delta Theta? There was videos that were surfacing of them having their pledges laid out on the ground, drinking some kind of mixture of milk and glue. And and also they were laying on their backs and all the physicality that accompanied that. I mean, who thinks of this stuff?
Right.
Who says, hey, you know what? Let's do this. It's a Thursday night. We don't have nothing to do. Let's bring our pledges in. Let's have them drink milk and glue and lay them out in their underwear or whatever and beat on them. Who thinks of this stuff, man?
I don't know. I don't know. It's just bad. And, going back to the FAMU incident, being a head band director, it's like having a football staff. You have your head coach, your receivers coach, and stuff like that. So I believe you have your head band director, assistant band director, director of woodwinds, director of brass. They all got fired.
Right.
And like I said before, see something, say something. And it's really hard. I did not participate in an HBCU band. I was in a regular state band in college, and I marched 4 years, and not on the level of most of the HBCU bands, but when we had the trumpet line, we didn't think of stuff like that. So, but we didn't have the traditions of the HBCU bands either. So again, they're most of the bands are just outstanding, and people want to be a part of that culture. But they work very hard. I know at summer band camp, they're probably working harder than the football players, right? So they're out there want to be a part of something big. And when with a ritual, and usually with FAMU, it's like usually freshmen, there's some type of hazing incident, but he was a senior and he went down the line and on the bus, and I'm like, man, you're getting hit by all those people, because you can easily seat 50 people on that bus. So wow, it's just crazy.
Yeah, and it's not just on the collegiate level. There was a case, just one incident in high school, among many in Rochester. There was the coach up there was suspended, and after they got allegations of after hours gathering football players without coaches and teachers, and they called it, I think the ritual was called the bleachers. And, they got together and, they used, these jokers were using airsoft guns and CO2 pistols and, and that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And they had, they were having them do they called cookie races, where they put cookies between their butt cheeks and ran around and got beat down and wrestle offs and just all kinds of things that were going on. Then of course, when folks start getting injured and that kind of stuff, then everybody's like, oh man, what's going on?
Yeah.
Even at the high school level, it goes on. And I know people have been doing things for years, but in the climate that we're in right now, that's just a bad decision all the way around. You know what I mean? And then when you think, I saw a thing this morning where somebody had posted that this young man down at Southern, they were just wondering what the last, it was very touching. They were talking about, I wonder what the last minutes of his life were like. What I mean? And just, looking at all the things that he had accomplished with his music and his mechanical engineering. And just wondering after he got striking the chest.
Yep.
What were those last few minutes like for him? It's just such a sad thing. And then you look at what happened to the guy at Florida A&M. Same thing.
Yep.
I remember watching the reaction of his mom on TV, and it was just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because there was absolutely nothing that you could say that would be of any consequence to the family. When those types of things happen. And so it was just terrible to see that kind of stuff go on.
Maybe I just grew up as a nerd. I mean, all we did was D pants while we're in PE, D pants, and what is it when you lift up the underwear?
Yeah, wedgies.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we did, but everyone got it. It was funny, but there wasn't penetration. There wasn't there wasn't hard hits to the chest, because I remember in high school in the 80s where people were playing games hitting people in the chest.
Yeah, I remember that.
And a kid died.
Yeah.
So I just we have to understand, we have to stop, because especially when it's the law, like you said, we're serious about it, and it can ruin your life. Like those band directors at Florida A&M. I mean, they can't get other jobs. They can't work with kids anymore. They're done. No. If they did not go to jail themselves for allowing that culture to exist. It's really sad.
Yeah. And I gotta just stop for just a second. I just got some news that Roy Ayers passed away. So
no.
Yes.
Oh.
Wow. That's a big one there, man.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big one. Yes, we've lost some real giants in the last year, man. Just giants, man. So there's some serious music and culture going on in heaven, man. Because they definitely got some giants up there right now.
Yeah, we have Angie Stone and
yes,
Roy.
Yes.
Jeez.
Yes. So I'm sorry to digress like that, but that was breaking news. So, but let me ask you this, Dr. T. Do you think that these incidents will have any impact on how people do business, or will it, after a couple of weeks, it'll be business as usual? Just in your humble opinion.
I like to be positive, but I think it's business as usual, because, again, having frank conversations with my fraternity members, one member told me, hey, it happened to me, so I'm going to do it to somebody else. I was like, wow. That was deep. Yeah. That was deep, and I reflected on what he said, and nice guy. He's been over to the house and always spoke to him, but that's what he said, and the cycle has to stop, and unfortunately, people are not understanding, but they're going to have to learn the hard way, which is very unfortunate, but. I know that in especially the Divine Nine, that we are intentional in stating when we have a membership intake meeting with potential candidates, that's the first thing we talk about is we don't do this in our organization. 2, if you see something, say something, basically. And 3, if you see something, don't say anything, or you're just a quote unquote innocent bystander, you will not be a member. And it's just crystal clear. And again, we have to change the culture. Yeah.
And you hope that happens, because at the end of the day, you certainly want people to join these wonderful organizations.
Yes.
Whatever the colors are. The
Yep.
the campus. Because they all do wonderful things in the community. They all have members who are very accomplished and doing great things in their chosen vocations. And you want that legacy to continue, especially as they advocate for our communities and make opportunities for other young people to be able to go to school and, all that aspect of things. You want that to certainly continue. And all the organizations that, that are trying to bring in people that are trying to do good things. I know there's some organizations that they're just there for the party. That's all they do. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for the Divine Nine, all of our organizations have, done things historically to make sure that the community is doing well.
Yes.
Looking out for the community.
Yes.
And that's what, you hope that will continue. You know what I mean?
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah. So, let's just hope that that this doesn't happen again. And, you can only just really, your heart goes out to those families. I mean, of the band members and the, all the other organizations who have had that to happen. It's not cool.
Exactly.
Not cool.
No, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So, anyway, Dr. T, that's all I have to say on the matter. You have anything else for us?
Yeah, our country has to be nice to people. I'm just going to put that out there. We just have to be nice to people.
Yeah.
When we have visitors from other countries, we have to be nice.
Yes, we do. And it's interesting to say that, because I just wonder. I don't know. Maybe I'm naive, man, but I just think if we could all just act from a position of decency, you know what I mean? And I know people are going to have disagreements and all that kind of stuff.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But we should be able to disagree on things without just. It just seems now that this is just an atmosphere of viciousness.
Yep.
And you can't disagree with anybody, or else you're labeled as some kind of moron. Or alien or something, Yeah. And that's, we were founded on that principle that we should be able to disagree, worship whoever you want. If you want to worship a head of cabbage, you know what I mean? Our country was established that you can do that, you know what I mean? And do it when you want to, how you want to, as long as you're not, doing illegal things.
Yep.
And just the whole 9 yards, having your property seized, trials that are fair, and all that stuff. And that's what we're supposed, and it just seems like we're just not able to get along, man, and that's just concerning.
Yeah. So we'll get there.
Yeah, I hope it gets better. I really do. That's one of the things that's allowed us to persevere through wars and famines and illnesses, is the fact that we have such diversity here in ideas and thoughts. And because of that, we've been able to really do things and invent things and the like that have made us the envy of the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like I said, we'll get there. We're going to learn from our mistakes, and I think we're going to talk about this young man at Southern, because it's just starting. It's just starting right now, and we're going to get more information and see what happened, and continue to have discussions around hazing, because I'm waiting to see some of the outcomes of the incident.
Oh, absolutely. And and again, we just hope at some point his family will have some semblance of normal under such a tragic situation, man, that they'll be able to eventually move forward in some fashion. You know what I mean? Because I know that they will just never get over this.
Right.
Just awful.
Yep.
Awful.
Agreed.
So, let's send that prayer for that.
Absolutely.
That will occur for them. Yes, sir. Yep. Well, Dr. T, as always, man, appreciate your insight, man, and your thoughts. For such a distinguished musician as yourself.
No, you gave that left hook. I was like, whoa, it's crazy. 2 giants within a week.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, that's that's really something. And with Angie, man, that was just something, man. Everybody in the car walked away almost, except for her. It's just unbelievable. So that was, wow.
Yeah.
And of course you get a giant like Roy Ayers, man. We think of him back in the day, just bees and birds and flowers, you know what I mean? And vibrations, and you know what I mean? He was just a dude, man.
Oh, what's that? Sunshine?
Yes, man.
Yeah.
Sunshine. That's right, man.
Everyone loves the
Polydor Records, man.
Huh?
Polydor Records sold 2.5 million copies.
Yeah.
Sir. Oh, yeah, man. I'm telling you, man, he would come to Carter Barron in D.C. and just kill it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Whenever Roy Ayers or Frankie Beverly or Grover Washington, Pieces of a Dream, whenever those guys would come through D.C. to the Carter Barron, man, that was an event. Because it was just, because you knew from the time those jokers took the stage, the time they say goodnight, man, the music was just going to be groovy.
Oh, absolutely.
And they had all these amazing musicians.
And
backup singers, man, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
Yeah.
So.
And you didn't have to wait 2 hours until they started, right?
No, man. You walked in, they were waiting on you. They were playing on you. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. They didn't mess around. I tell you, man, I saw a concert in D.C. years ago. Tell you how long ago it was. It was Phyllis Hyman, Pieces of a Dream, and Noel Pointer.
Wow.
And man, that was one of the best shows I've ever been to.
Wow.
It was just, oh my goodness, man. It just all day. They just killed it.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Oh yeah. It was amazing. It's an amazing concert, man. So yeah. But anyway, Dr. T, we'll get out of here and
right.
Take us out.
Well, everyone, thank you for listening to Straight No Chaser Talk Radio. Brother B, is always a pleasure. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. And we're going to have a great week, and we're going to learn. We're going to learn from this and move forward and teach one, reach one, teach one to everybody, and we're very excited. We're going to learn from this.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dr. T.
Thank you.
Sir.